As the days passed, Madhu found himself on an emotional roller coaster. Though his body was slowly strengthening, the mental and emotional pressure was constant. Pretending to be unconscious while listening to Adako plan his future without him was a psychological torture. The moment of solitude in his room felt endless and filled with dark thoughts. One afternoon, while staring at the ceiling, Madhu remembered his mother's teachings. She always told him to be strong, to face adversities with courage. He remembered her words: "Life will test you, but never let it defeat you. Rise every time you fall." This memory gave him strength to keep going. Although despair sometimes overwhelmed him, the thought of fighting for what was his and exposing the betrayal gave him a spark of hope. Adobe, the young nurse, continued to be a ray of light in his life. Unaware that Madhu was conscious, she spoke to him every day, sharing stories and antidotes that made him smile internally. Her words of encouragement and constant optimism were a balm for Madhu's soul. She had no idea of the crucial role she was playing in his emotional recovery. One day, Adobe arrived with a small potted plant. "I thought you would like something green here," she said, placing it on the table next to Madhu's bed. "Plants always make me feel better, like there's a bit of life and hope nearby." Madhu looked at the plant, feeling an unexpected connection to it. It was a simple sign of life and resilience, something he himself was fighting to maintain. However, not all moments were comforting. There were days when frustration and anger threatened to overwhelm Madhu. He felt trapped, powerless, unable to move or speak. These moments of anguish were the hardest to endure. One night, when the hospital was silent, Madhu felt a deep despair. He wanted to scream, move, do something to release the tension he felt, but he knew he had to stay in control. He took a deep breath, remembering his mother's teachings and Amaka's words. He focused on his goal, using that determination as an anchor in the midst of the emotional storm. Amaka continued to be his silent ally, supporting him every step of the way. Each time she visited his room, she whispered words of encouragement and reminded him they were close to achieving their goal. "Stay strong, Madhu," she would say. "We are almost there. Soon, this will all be over." Amaka also shared some personal details, revealing she too had faced betrayals in her life. Her empathy and understanding were palpable, creating a strong bond between them. These moments of confidence not only strengthened their relationship, but also gave Madhu a renewed perspective on resilience and hope. However, their conversation was interrupted by Adako's arrival. She stormed into the room, her expression furious at seeing the nurse sitting beside Madhu. "Madam Adako, good evening," said Amaka with a subtle tone. "Good evening. Excuse me, I didn't know you were here. Is there something wrong?" she asked, pretending concern. "I need a moment alone with Madhu. It will be brief." "Sure, no problem," said Amaka, leaving through the door. As she closed the door, Adako made sure it was properly shut. It was her last move to secure her plan. Carefully, she approached Madhu, thinking he was asleep, and spoke with finality. "Thank you for everything, my love. Now you can rest in peace while I enjoy what is rightfully mine," she said, taking her purse and snapping a photo of his ID. Finally, she looked at him and said, "With this inheritance, I can go to Dubai. You have no idea how much I appreciate it." After those words, Adako left, and Amaka re-entered the room. "Did you get any crucial information?" she asked Madhu pointedly. Madhu opened his eyes and gave a small smile, confirming. "Good, we are ready," said Amaka. The following days were a mix of preparation and reflection. Madhu continued to strengthen himself physically and mentally, ready for the confrontation that would change his life forever. He knew he had to stay strong, not only for himself, but for those who had supported him in his struggle. The hour of truth was approaching, and Madhu was prepared to face it with all the strength and courage he could muster. The sun had barely risen when Madhu woke up, aware that his day would mark a turning point in his life. Amaka arrived early, with a determined look in her eyes. "Today is the day, Madhu," she whispered while checking his vital signs. "Everything is ready. Are you ready?" Madu moved his finger slightly, a sign of his determination. He knew today he would face Adako and Chukwudi, and the mix of nervousness and excitement kept him alert. Amaka, with her usual care and efficiency, made sure everything was in order before the big confrontation. The lawyer arrived shortly after, reviewing the last details with Amaka. "We have all the necessary evidence," he said quietly. "Adako and Chukwudi won't be able to escape this." Amaka nodded and then turned to Madu. "The lawyer agrees to keep your condition secret for now. We are going to use it to our advantage." Madu moved his finger, indicating he understood. He knew continuing to pretend was essential at this point. A few hours later, Adako arrived at the hospital, more impatient than usual, clearly anxious to see the results of her plans. Chukwudi accompanied her, his expression equally tense. Amaka and the lawyer waited for the right moment to act. Amaka called Adako and Chukwudi to the hospital's conference room under the pretext of discussing Madu's condition. "It's important that we are all present," she said, maintaining a professional tone. Adako and Chukwudi didn't suspect anything and followed Amaka without question. In the conference room, the lawyer presented several documents on the table. "Madam Adako and Mr. Chukwudi," he began, "we've been reviewing some legal and financial matters that require your immediate attention." Adako frowned, but had no time to respond before the lawyer continued. "We have clear evidence of irregular financial movements and communications indicating an attempt at fraud and conspiracy." Chukwudi tried to protest, but the lawyer interrupted him. "Please stay calm. We are here to resolve this fairly. We have all the necessary evidence to proceed legally if needed." Adako turned pale. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, trying to maintain her composure, but her voice betrayed her nervousness. Amaka, who had remained silent until then, stepped forward. "Adako, we've known all along what you were planning. Madu is conscious and has been listening to every word." The revelation hit like a bombshell. Adako and Chukwudi were left speechless, unable to process what they had just heard. "What? What are you saying?" Adako stammered. Amaka turned to the door. "Madu, it's time." With effort, Madu sat up and slowly entered the conference room, supported by Adobe, who had been informed of the situation and was ready to help. Adako's expression shifted from surprise to sheer panic. "Madu," she whispered, unable to find words. Madu, with a firm and determined look, faced her. "I've heard everything, Adako. Every conversation, every plan. I knew you were betraying me, and I've gathered all the necessary evidence to ensure you don't get away with it." Chukwudi tried to intervene. "This is ridiculous. You have no proof." The lawyer, with unshakable calm, placed a recorder on the table and pressed play. The voices of Adako and Chukwudi plotting Madu's demise and dividing his inheritance filled the room. There was no way to deny the evidence. Desperate now, Adako made one last attempt to appeal to Madu. "Please, it's not what it seems. I just wanted the best for us." Madu looked at her with sadness. "All this time, I thought you loved me, but now I see who you really are." The lawyer intervened again. "Mr. Madu, we've prepared the necessary documents to protect your inheritance and properties. Adako and Chukwudi will face the legal consequences of their actions." Amaka, Adobe, and the lawyer escorted Madu back to his room, letting him rest after the confrontation. Although exhausted, Madu felt immense inner peace. He had faced betrayal and emerged victorious. In the following days, Adako and Chukwudi were arrested, making the case public with an upcoming hearing where they would face the legal evidence and uncover the truth. Amaka continued visiting Madu, helping him with his recovery. Their bond grew stronger, based on mutual trust and respect. Madu knew the road to complete recovery would be long, but he was ready to face it with Amaka by his side. The day of revelation had just been the beginning. Madu had reclaimed his life and dignity and was determined to build a better future, free of betrayals and filled with hope. Look out for part 3 and don't forget to share and subscribe. Turn on post notification for the concluding part of this amazing story.